All right, here for 394. Had a couple of questions on skill number 4. So this is the activity where we're trying to break up the Plover River watershed into 3 distinct decision-making units. All right, so the question basically came around is that somebody's already gone through and they've used the information available in using the county layer. They've already gotten their lower boundary clipped out, but now they're here to this upper boundary, right? And so we're actually creating a new layer to use as the cookie cutter in a clip function to cut out the upper layer. And the reason for that is that realistically, here's Highway 29, cutting right across the screen here, right? We want to create a polygon that encompasses the entire upper watershed and then is very accurate across the Highway 29 corridor. So just as a quick way of doing this, I figured I'd create a video and show you how to do this. All right, so to digitize a new layer, we actually need a new layer to work with. And so you'll see over here, and the way to turn this on is the Art Catalog is underneath this button. What you want to do is go ahead and navigate to where you have your folder saved. And so for me, I have it saved on my server drive underneath a courses folder in 394, and then you'll see each one of my skills is laid out here. This happens to be skill number 4. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to say I want something new, and down here I'm going to find the new shapefile. Once I have the shapefile, I need a polygon, and because this is the upper Plover River and this is going to be the digitize, right? We're going to digitize the kind of cutting polygon for that. Before you can leave this screen though, you actually have to give a spatial reference, and the easiest way to do that is hit edit. And you could go through, right, and to be honest, I have some favorites that are sitting here that would be really easy to click on. But just as a learning exercise, you can always go ahead and import that. Well, for me, it's fortunate that this just popped right to my assignment because I've been working in here. But if it hasn't, you need to navigate to where you've been storing your information, go into any of the layers that you used to start creating this, and just hit add. And you're going to see what happens as it populates the current coordinate system. It imports that from something else you're working on. That way you know they match and there's going to be no problems. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to look at my details one last time, hit OK again, and you're going to see that from Art Catalog now, jumping back over into ArcMap, in my table of contents, I now have a blank upper Plover River digitize. And so just so we can see it as I'm working on it, I'm going to go ahead and change that to bright purple, just so that we know it's there. So at this point I can go ahead and close out Art Catalog. But I want to go ahead and start editing this layer so that I can digitize in this shape. Well, if you don't have the editor menu up, you need to actually go into custom toolbars and turn your editor on. But once it's up, you go ahead and say start editing, and then a list comes up and it has basically every layer that's in your table of contents. So you need to go through there and find yours, click OK. Sometimes spatial reference aren't perfect and you'll always get an error on this. Usually it's not a big deal. So you go ahead and click through that. Right, and so now what do? Nothing's showing up, right? I want to edit this and nothing's here. Well, what you need to do is that you have to click on the Create Features tool inside your editor toolbar. And then within that, I need to click on the upper Plover River upper PR digitize layer, and then tell it I want a polygon. And once I'm there, it basically just allows me to go through, and then I can zoom in, digitize right across that boundary. That's probably good enough. I can zoom back out. Always helps with the mouse wheel allowing you to zoom in and around your drawing. You can also hold the mouse wheel and pan, which is beneficial. So you see what I've created there, and then I double click to finish it. Is I've created this huge, boundary. And I'm going to go ahead and go to stop editing. And when it asks if I want to save my edits, I'm going to say yes. So I've created my feature. I can go ahead and close that menu. Right? And now if I drag that down here, you'll see that I have this purple digitized boundary that completely encompasses the upper watershed. Now I can go into the clip features and away we go. The last question that came through with this is then how would we use, once we've gotten that upper boundary, how would we use it to then cut out the land cover information? Well, realistically, this goes back to what we were talking about in class, is that when we're working with a raster, and so that, let me zoom in here. So the land cover information is a grid of pixels. that represent the land cover at a 30 meter by 30 meter square. And so when we're working with a raster like that, in order to clip out the information we're looking for, what we need to do is go ahead and jump into the Spatial Analyst toolbox and go to Extract by Mask. And that should work basically just like Clip does. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave you there. Hopefully this video helped. Good luck on skill number 4.